question 3 here. I'm going to move down to Kristen Meyer with the microphone and ask her and all of you to address the next question here. A minute or so on this would be fine. Maybe we could go a little bit longer on this, because this is, I know, a burning issue in the community here and elsewhere. What is your position on adding all-day kindergarten in East Greenwich? Is there anything you'd be willing to cut to be able to afford all-day kindergarten? And we heard some cost estimates here in the town council forum earlier, $200,000, $500,000. I mean, where would you get the money to do this? First of all, do you support full-day kindergarten, and how would we pay for it? And if you had to cut things, I guess, what would you cut to pay for that? But we're going to start with Kristen with your thoughts on full-day kindergarten.
Sure, thank you, Mark. So I am for all-day kindergarten. To say right off the bat, I do have a 6-year-old. My oldest just started at Meadowbrook this year, and I have a 3.5-year-old also, so hopefully all-day kindergarten will be in place by the time he goes to school. So my feelings on all-day kindergarten, it is important. We've done the studies. We know it's great for necessary component, of a comprehensive early learning, which will boost their cognitive learning, creative problem solving, social competence. And when kids are better prepared to start, at the start, it allows for accelerated learning along the way. And it gives teachers more time to provide that meaningful learning environment as well, and they're not just rushing along through the day. I know Jack at Meadowbrook is a fantastic teacher, but they have a working snack. So there's no time in place for them to go out and have recess. I know when we were in kindergarten, we used to play, and we had fun. And now with the academic structure where it is, there's a need for it. We need to have this for our children. And I think it also helps to maintain our excellent brand as well. I think those two go hand in hand. I do know in 2012, the Full Day Kindergarten Accessibility Act was signed into law, which provides a limited one-time startup funding for school districts that move to provide students with access to full-day kindergarten. I think, Jack, you may know the answer, I think we got $10,000 for that. Cranston was awarded $99,000. Exeter and West Greenwich were awarded $45,000. Gloucester $33,000, and Woonsocket $72,928. I don't really know the details why we were only given $10,000. That's something that I'd like to look into.
Have you met the funding formula?
So, and again, I know that the funding of this is very competitive to get the money from this grant, but that money helps with the startup cost. So now where does the money come from to continue this? We can't burden our taxpayers anymore. I know I pay a lot of money in taxes. We all pay a lot of money in taxes, so we need to be mindful of the taxpayer. What do we cut to afford it? Again, that's sitting down and looking at our buckets. Where are we going to pull from to make this all-day kindergarten happen? I hear from other people, well, I don't have kids in school, so all-day kindergarten doesn't really affect me, and it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But the reality is our all-day kindergarten will help to enhance our school brand, which in turn helps our property value. So even if we don't have children in school, but you're getting ready to downsize and move out, the people who are looking at your house are young families. And they have the choice, Barrington or East Greenwich. My husband and I had that conversation when we moved in. When we made the decision to move, do we go to Barrington or East Greenwich? Barrington was a little too close to Bristol, that's where I grew up, so I wanted to come to East Greenwich. It's a beautiful town and community. So it's something that we have to look at. We need, it's not when it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. I'm for it. What buckets are we going to pull from? What buckets are we going to pull from to make this happen without burdening the taxpayer anymore? Thank you.
Jack Summer, your thoughts on all-day kindergarten and where to find the money to pay for it?
I'll cancel your reservation at Persimmon since you don't like Bristol. We need to do it. There's no question it should happen. The requirements on the students and the teachers with the Common Core and the academic rigor that is starting earlier, half-day kindergarten doesn't fit the need. So it needs to go to full-day K. It's not going to get funded from the state. The funding formula doesn't work that way for East Greenwich. So we've got to find the money It is an investment up front, but it will yield dividends. We will see students achieve at a higher level. We will see students need perhaps less resource further down the road because they address issues that require resource down the road earlier. That's the benefit. The continuum from K through 12 in education only builds, the earlier you build it, the better and stronger it is. It's the foundation. So if we can have full day K, it's a stronger foundation on which we build the continuum of education. So to not do it is shortchanging. The curriculum has already changed. It should be required across the state, but there's a lot of state mandates that have already come out, so the state doesn't want to put any more mandates on it. It's on us to do it ourselves. We need to do it, we should do it. There is an education benefit, there is a long-term economic benefit. We might not see it in the beginning, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it today.
Jack, thank you. I'm going to bring the microphone back down here and let David Osborne and Michael Fain and Jan Sun answer the same question. Again, do you support full-day kindergarten? How do we pay for it? What would you cut to make it happen, or how would you pay for it?
I absolutely support the implementation of full-day kindergarten in both of our elementary schools here in East Greenwich. And I come at this, and this is a very, very personal issue for me and for my family. We were lucky in that one of our kids at Meadowbrook was in the half-day program and had a fabulous teacher. And she worked her tail off to make sure that he got the education and the foundation that he needed to prepare him for his later grades. We were also lucky that our youngest two children were able to get into the full-day pilot program at Meadowbrook. The interesting thing is that in both of those kindergarten classes, the half-day program and the full-day program, the teachers are trying to cover the same course requirements. There are certain things that they want to see the kids be able to do academically by the end of the year. The difference, of course, is that when you have a full day to do it, the kids not only get the academic background that we want them to have, reading, mathematics, learning how to play in groups and all of that, but then they also have time for things that we want kindergarten kids to be able to do. To go outside and have some recess, to have snack time, to have time to be kids, right? And to get acclimated to group work, and it's the foundation for good learning. And we were really, really blessed that two of our children were able to get that. And it's unfortunate that other kids, either on the Frenchtown side of the school, or even other kids who might not have been able to get in at Meadowbrook, weren't able to have that same opportunity. We've been saying for years, if not, it's not an issue of if, but when. But every year goes by, there's another group of kids who did not get that same opportunity that others have had. It's time to bite the bullet. Let's get this done. There are ways to find savings. When Smithfield, Rhode Island, implemented its full-day kindergarten program, the estimates of increased costs were about $350,000. That's 1% of the school budget. Surely we could find 1% to set the proper foundation for learning for the rest of these children's education. But on top of that, there will be savings. Some will be more immediate, some will be savings over time. I guarantee you there will be less remediation needed by kids who participate in full-day kindergarten further down the road. They will be closer to reading on grade level. They'll be doing mathematics on grade level. We'll find savings from buses that we won't need for half-day. And so we can make this happen, and we must make it happen.
Thank you, David Osborne, Michael Fain. We're going to let you weigh in on this. We get to Jan as well, too. And then I think we may go to closing. We'll see. We promised everybody out the door by 8:30. So, Michael Fain, go ahead with your thoughts on full-day kindergarten and the costs.
First of all, I'd like to acknowledge, as I said earlier, that I do have a child who would be entering, or will be entering kindergarten next year. But even outside of that, I absolutely believe that we should be implementing full-day kindergarten. When I've been looking at different pieces to this particular issue, I've seen some studies that talk about that the long-term benefits aren't necessarily there. But I think one of the things that those studies don't acknowledge is the changes that have happened, in particular with Common Core, and the expectations that are being put on the kindergartners and what they're expected to know when they're entering first grade. So I do think it's critical that the foundation that the kindergartners receive is at a higher level than is capable of being given to them with a half-day program. I want to acknowledge earlier during the town council meeting, Bill Stone mentioned about the EG being one of the few that has not implemented, a few in Rhode Island that have not. I think there's only 4 that have not implemented full-day kindergarten. That does impact how our schools are perceived. That impacts how our properties are valued. So there are many benefits, even outside of parents who will have children in kindergarten, that the residents, even residents that don't have kids in school, are going to get additional benefit just from the increase in property values, or by keeping our schools strong. So in summary, I am absolutely in favor of all-day kindergarten, and I am sure that there is a place in the budget that we will be able to find the money to make it happen.
Michael Fain, thank you, and let's talk to Ian Sun next.
I am surely a supporter for full-day kindergarten. I can share with you personal experiences. Before we moved to East Greenwich, because of the excellent school system. One of my friends warned me, "Are you sure they only have half-day kindergarten?" And then I understand as an educator how important it is for the early childhood education. It's super important. So, but I love East Greenwich. So what we did is we sent the kids to a private daycare to cover that. We spent thousands of dollars. I think I'm not the only parents who did that. Many parents in the town really spend money to send the kids to the full-day kindergarten. So that shouldn't be the case. And my other candidates, I agree with them. Really, they have mentioned a lot of good things that we should do. But one thing I really agree with you, as earlier, the town council candidates, many of them support full-day kindergarten. And they mentioned that they're going to work with school committee, and they're going to come together to find resources to do that. And also agree with David, what I'm talking about is this when issue, and it's time to make it happen. And also it's very challenging because, as the questions mentioned, we're going to cut. So that's what the school committee for. The school committee have the experts, and then to look at the budget, and to allocate the resource, and to make it happen.
You have something?